Welcome in. Belly up, have a seat, and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman fantasy football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you, who may be watching or listening to today's show. This is episode 136, a Week 15 preview. And it is my great pleasure to welcome into the bar Mr. Bernie, a.k.a. Team B.
I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
How are you doing today, Bernie?
Still recovering from last week's matchup, but I'm here, so I'm good.
Well, you got the bye, so you have time to relax and contemplate all of your errors.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. All right, guys, we have another jam-packed episode for you guys today as we will set the slate for this weekend's primetime games. We'll also check in on the player news and practice reports. We'll take a look at the activity of our league's waiver wire. We'll go over this week's playoff matchups in the Wingman Fantasy Football League, and we'll see who's on top of the newest power rankings. We also have our starts of the week, and we will be graced with another installment of a fourth and long with Bernie. And we take a look at last week's Wingman Jam results, and we'll also set the slate for a new week's of Wingman Jam battle here. And of course, we will dive into this week's mailbag. All right, guys, before we get any further along, I want to make sure that everybody is in the room. Wingman Assemble! All right, guys, friendly reminder that there are no NFL teams on bye this week, so we will be at full strength for the first round of the fantasy playoffs unless you have Breece Hall on your team. And of course, let's look at this week's schedule for the prime time games. On Thursday night, we have the LA Rams charging their way over to Santa Clara in the NFC West matchup between the Rams and the 49ers. That game started at 8:15 p.m. The Sunday night game this week has the Green Bay Packers like a wheel of cheese rolling over to the Great Northwest to take on the Seattle Seahawks at 8:20 p.m. And we have a special surprise. There are two Monday night games this week, although only one is worth watching. Starting off with the Chicago Bears rumbling over to Minnesota to take on division foes, the Minnesota Vikings. And the last game of the week has the Atlanta Falcons soaring over to Sin City to take on their old pal, Desmond Ridder, and the game against the Raiders at 8:15 p.m. Which of these four games catches your attention the most?
I would say the Atlanta game. They've got a little playoff competition coming on with Tampa Bay, so they'll be watching that game at 4 o'clock, and then they'll be making some business decisions at 8:20.
All right. Yeah, that game is going to be huge for NFC South teams and also huge for my particular playoff matchup, as we are going to have at least two players going to that game and maybe three depending on some availabilities. All right, starting off on our Thursday night game, it was a lighter load for our managers this week as we had four teams on playoff buys for the fantasy league. So only four players were active in our managers lineups for Thursday night. Starting off in our consolation bracket, the Fantastics had wide receiver Deebo Samuel and the LA Rams defense in his lineup up against Waddle away, who had Matthew Stafford in his lineup. And in the big boy bracket, Cubert's Rage had wide receiver Cooper Kupp in his lineup. I didn't see his final stat line, but it was not looking good at the last check. So he might have a deficit to start off his playoff week. All right, now for some player news and practice reports. Starting off where we always start off, the New York Giants. Drew Lock is dealing with multiple injuries. He's been walking around in a boot. I don't know if he likes to do line dancing or not, but he likes wearing boots. But it looks like he's going to sit down this week as Tommy the Penguin DeVito may get the start against the Ravens. Ladd McConkey, who missed last week's game, is dealing with multiple injuries from his shoulders to his knees. He's been limited in practice. This is the same designation he had last week before he did miss, so please follow the news up until game time regarding his final availability. Romeo Doubs has returned to a full practice for the Packers. but he is still in the concussion protocol. But with these full practices, it looks like he has a strong chance to be cleared and may return to the lineup this Sunday. All right, what do you have on these first three guys? We have Tommy DeVito getting back on the field. Ladd McConkey is practicing, but he scares us with last-minute potential inactiveness. And Romeo Doubs looks like he's going to get back on the field for the Packers.
Yeah, I would go ahead and not start any Giants unless their name is Neighbors or Tracy. As far as the Chargers go, that's going to be Ladd McConkey should probably be on the field, even as a decoy. And then Romeo Doubs, he's not really, I don't think he's going to sway target share at all any which way. So start your Green Bay Packers as usual.
If anything, it just helps Jordan Love have more quality players to spread the ball around to. So I don't think it helps or hurts the receivers, like you said, but it might help Jordan Love.
There you go. Yep.
All right, let's look at the backfield in Las Vegas as Alexander Mattison has returned to a full practice after missing the last couple of games with an ankle injury. And it's been kind of secretly reported here that he might have been healthy enough to play last week and was a healthy scratch to cede carries to Sincere McCormick, who has now officially been named the starter for the Raiders going forward. And Mattison will most likely serve as his backup for the remainder of the season. Now heading over to Seattle here, we have DK Metcalf has been limited in practice this week. This will be the third week in a row where he's been limited all week with a shoulder injury, although he has been active and played during the last 2 weeks. So we expect him to play, but he is definitely banged up. Kenneth Walker has not yet practiced this week as he deals with a calf injury, but the team is labeling him day to day. The only question is Sunday going to be one of those days? Still, this looks like a most likely miss, and Zach Charbonnet once again may get the call to start for the Seahawks. All right, what do you have on these Raiders running backs and these Seattle assets here between Metcalf and Walker?
Yeah, so as far as the Raiders go, Sincere McCormick, he's probably going to get the lion's share of all of the work. I would see there's probably a couple other questionable tags on a couple other of their receivers and their quarterback. So wait and see on that. But Sincere McCormick will probably get that. DK and Ken Walker, though, that's going to be a tough one. Charbonnet is going to be good to go. But I'm still hesitant to even play Geno, and I have Geno on my team. But maybe Green Bay's defense, they have looked lively before, so this might be a good game for them to get back up on the field and maybe get a touchdown or I don't know, a shutout or something.
Well, a good thing is, like, I know it's consolation, but you are on a bye. Let's hope that Kenneth Walker can at least return by next week.
Yeah, no, it's easier if he's just not in, and then I don't have to figure out to start him or not.
Fair enough. You've cut ties with Walker, at least emotionally, it sounds like.
Him and Jonathan Taylor, and who was that other running back on my team?
Nick Chubb.
No. Nick Chubb, yeah, right.
All right,
So,
all right.
All good. It's all good.
All right, moving on. Chris Olave is now eligible to return as he has now missed the 4 games required on his IR stint as he deals with multiple concussions sustained this year. But the Saints coaches have indicated that he will not be designated to return this week at least. Doesn't mean he's done for the year, but he's not making a return this week. Mike Evans has yet to practice as he deals with a hamstring injury. Last week he also missed 2 practices before getting on the field. Breece Hall has missed practice all week long with a knee injury. The star running back has missed last week and is in danger of missing his 2nd consecutive week in a juicy matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bucky Irving has yet to practice as he deals with hip and back injury. This news means that there is a chance that the rookie running back may miss week 15. And CeeDee Lamb has been limited in practice to start the week. Lamb is dealing with that shoulder injury. You can see him grimacing during the games, but he has been playing through it. Last week, he started off with a no practice. At least this time, he's starting off limited, so he's a little bit ahead of the game compared to last week. All right, what do you have on these guys missing practice and or limited? We have Mike Evans missing, Breece Hall missing, Bucky Irving missing, and CeeDee Lamb is a limited participant.
Yeah, so with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rashad White and Kate Otten might be your go-tos there. with Brees Hall out, Davis and Braylon Allen, but I would lean towards Braylon Allen. But those receivers have also been coming on, so the run game might just be a decoy run game, but Braylon Allen will probably get the most of those snaps there. CD Lamb, though, Dallas is just such a question mark right now. I don't even know what to do with Dallas, so I would just steer clear of Dallas altogether.
Oh, really? Okay. So I was thinking last week, Isaiah Davis, even though they had similar
Mhm,
stats and carry and like snap share, I guess,
mhm.
but Isaiah Davis definitely caught my eye more on the field.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling Braylon Allen, this might be the one where like everyone shifts to Isaiah Davis, and Braylon Allen's the one who's going to have the bigger day.
Yeah, I think he just has more. He just got has more snaps in total for the season. So I think that he's just more seasoned and ready to play in these last couple of games. But the Jets are out of it, so it's kind of like one of those things. Like like what are they? What's the game plan for them as
Right.
opposed to these guys putting good plays on film? Because who knows what's going to happen next year?
Gotcha. All right, moving along, we have Cedric Tillman finally returned to practice, although it was a limited capacity. Tillman remains in the concussion protocol. Excuse me. And without getting in a full practice by Saturday, it is more than likely that Tillman will miss his third straight game. Isaac Guerendo, who was questionable all week with a foot injury, was active for the 49ers game in the Thursday night matchup against the Rams. Hollywood Brown, haven't heard that name in a while, except Bernie's been on top of this for a while, keeping tabs on this player. He has received medical clearance to return to practice for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have not designated him to return yet, but it seems only a matter of time before he starts acclimating himself back onto the offense for the Chiefs. Aiden O'Connell did not practice on Thursday, and the Raiders play the Monday night game. So if you really want to play Aiden O'Connell, you have to have a backup plan ready. Pick up Desmond Ritter, as Desmond Ritter looks like he may make the start against his old team for the Raiders. And another player on the Raiders, Jacoby Myers, was limited in practice on Thursday as he's dealing with an ankle injury. He did play through it last week, so we don't expect him to miss any time. But keep in mind he is hampered here. What do you have on these guys? Tillman finally getting back to practice, although unlikely to play. Guerendo did play. Hollywood Brown is making a return at some point before the end of the season. Aiden O'Connell and Jacoby Myers. One did not practice. One's limited.
Yeah. Again, I would steer clear of the Raiders. Your only play there is going to be Sincere McCormick, and we didn't have any Brock Bowers news. Did we have any Brock Bowers news?
I didn't see anything. I could be. I might have
Okay.
missed something.
No. If there wasn't any news, that's a good thing. So only a couple plays there, but without that quarterback, that's going to be a tough one altogether. Guerendo, a lot of the extra backs that were there were picked up in the waiver wire. Some of them were not active. It's good to see that he was active. Are they out of it? I don't know. If they're not going to make the playoffs and he's got a foot injury as a running back, they might just want to shut him down for next year if he's this good. And then Tillman will be a blessing in disguise when he comes back for Jameis Winston, and those fantasy points are going to be 20 plus for
Yeah,
Winston when Tillman comes
Tillman's a
back.
big time player. If he gets back on the
Yeah,
field, Judy, although Judy has been exploding, and he might not
yeah,
be able to give those. That genie might be out of the bottle here. Might not be able to give those back because Tillman was playing probably better before he got hurt compared to
yeah,
Judy. I mean,
yeah. But who knows? Maybe that goes from 3 to 4 touchdowns to 5 and 6 touchdowns for Winston.
yeah, not a takeaway, but an increase.
Exactly.
All right, we have our last 6 players on our news here. We have Jake Hayner has been named the starter for the New Orleans Saints this week against the Commanders. Darnell Mooney has been limited with as he deals with a foot injury. Alvin Kamara has missed practice this week with an illness. It's not been disclosed what it is. I'm a little I don't know. I have a weird feeling Kendra Miller might get the bulk of the share of carries this week, but that's just speculation. Trey McBride is dealing with a knee injury and been limited in practice. George Pickens is all but been ruled out for week 15 against the Eagles with his hamstring injury. And Tony Pollard missed the last 2 days of practice as he deals with an ankle injury. Kind of forgot about this because the game was so bad. I think he didn't finish the game. I think Tajay Spears finished the rushing in the fourth quarter against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you have anything on that, you can enlighten me. I'm kind of going by osmosis, not really sure about that one. So what do you have on the new starting quarterback for the Saints? Darnell Mooney is been a little hampered. Alvin Kamara, mystery illness. McBride has a knee injury that's keeping him limited. Pickens is most likely out, and Tony Pollard missed practice. I'm not sure what his deal is with his ankle injury.
Yeah, I'm not sure with Tony either, but Tyjae Spears is definitely, if you have Tony, going to be a must-have handcuff if you're going into the playoffs with Tony Pollard. George Pickens definitely out. Freiermuth is probably going to pick up that slack again. Trey McBride might be the reason why the Arizona is on the slide, and why Kyler Murray just hasn't found a groove. So it seems like that might be a big deal if he's limited and can't really play or not play at 100%. And then you're, like you said, Kendra Miller is the way to go. Kendra Miller is it. Mooney, that's okay. I wouldn't pick up anybody else. You're only going to be starting London and Robinson in that game anyway.
All right. All right, guys. It is now time to take a look at the activity on our waiver wire. All right. I didn't put these numbers down real quick, so let me do a quick count before I finish this off. 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 3. Okay. We had 8 waiver bids this week on 5 NFL players, and 3 players received multiple bids. Our high-priced pickup this week was Sincere McCormick, who went to Amazing Spidey for $11, outbidding Cubert's Rage $7 bid. And honestly, I might have to start Sincere McCormick. I was saving for next week as a pinch, but with Breece Hall potentially being out, and the good thing is he plays Monday, so I can wait till all the news comes in if I'm going to play him as a backup plan. Do you think $11 was an overpay compared to a $7 bid here?
No, that was a good play. It was much better than $94 for Garendo.
Right. I think I had a $7 bid in and I changed it like at 2 a.m. I'm like, I don't want to miss out on this guy. And 7 would not have been good enough because he would have the tiebreaker in terms of a waiver priority here. All right, moving on to the Dallas defense. Went to Cubert's Rage for $7, outbidding Amazing Spidey, who put a $0 bid in. So both these guys bid on the same players, and they each got one. Isaiah Davis went to Red Sox Nation in a blocking move to block yours truly to have the handcuff to Breece Hall. Isaiah Davis went for $3 to Red Sox Nation, while Cubert's Rage put in a $0 bid as a price enforcement. Sean Tucker, a sneaky good pickup, I think, here, went to Red Sox Nation for $3. And Michael Badgley, once again, the IR kicker, got back onto Amazing Spidey's roster for $0. What do you think about some of these pickup here? Sincere McCormick, Dallas defense. Isaiah Davis for the Jets. A lot of handcuffs here with injured backs and questionable backs. Isaiah Davis, Sean Tucker.
Yeah, these are all good pickups. I don't see anything wrong with any of them. Nobody overpaid for anything. I would say this is all good to go here. I like this. I like what I see.
So you're on bye this week, so you have no need to get anyone this week. But I did notice when these waivers ran, you were quick to start getting. You had like 3 to 6 free agent pickups at the earliest moment they became free agents. So you were very active early in the morning. What were your thought processes on picking up some of these players? And can you name a couple of them if they're of interest here?
Yeah, so I needed to shift around some IR things. And then in the morning, I was just ready to go. I had picked up, let's see here. Are we looking at the 11th or the 12th? I'm sorry.
It would have
11th.
been it would have been today because it would have been the 11th.
11th. Okay. So I picked up Detroit defense just because I like Detroit. But then I picked up Evan McPherson to put him in my IR spot so I could fill that void. And then I picked up Israel Abakondo, but he became inactive, coach's scratch, I guess. And then that was it.
I was looking at Izzy, but I was going to wait to either see the inactives of this. I wanted a little more day of news because I didn't know I want to drop somebody for someone who wasn't going to play or have any kind of future here. So I was a little upset you picked him up because you did it right away. Didn't give me time to think, but in the end, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter either way. But I was awake already, and just kind of going through, and I didn't want to pay for anybody, and they were there, so I figured, hey, let me just go ahead and pick them up then.
I'm gonna do a little curveball here since we're talking about waivers. I'm gonna do a little tip and trick. That is the tip. Let's try this instead. Tips and tricks.
Or quirks for jerks.
My hotkeys are T for Tyrone and T for tips, but I pushed the wrong function button there. All right. So I noticed we were talking about, you mentioned before, when do these waivers get processed, right? And we were saying technically it's 3 a.m. because that's the midnight in the West Coast, but it takes a while for the Yahoo servers to shuffle through all of the bids and stuff. I did notice at essentially at 3 o'clock, 3:01, you can actually sort free agents to waivers, and everyone who doesn't have a waiver claim on them actually becomes a free agent at 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Very
So
nice.
like instead of waiting to see who comes through, you can actually see who's definitely going to be a free agent and not have to wait till 4:30. You can do it at 3 o'clock, 3:01, 3:05, somewhere in that range.
Gotcha. Well,
And then it's
next
also a
time
good way to
I'm,
see who's actually has a waiver claim on them somewhere. You can see all the people, like, because anyone who's on waivers at that point is going to be running through the system because they've had some sort of bid put on them.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of interesting right there. I noticed that the other day when I was like, let me see. Okay.
All right, you're what you're up to too late, Mike. You're time to get some rest there.
I don't disagree with you. All right, guys. Now it's time to see who's playing who in this week's playoff matchups.
I want you! I want nostalgia! Ready, down! Put!
This week's matchup.
All right, guys, starting off in our little boy bracket, our consolation bracket, playing for 7th place. And for some, this is a big improvement on their regular season. We have 2 teams on bye. We have the 7th seed, Ben's brilliant team. Oh, who just missed the big boy bracket by a point on the last play, near the last play of the game. And our A seed, Bernie's team B, they're both on bye this week. They're going to advance to the next round of the consolation bracket. However, we have 4 teams playing to try and avoid last place here, starting off with the number 10 seed, Reggie's Lionized at 5-9 versus the 11th seed, Katie's King George, also at 5-9. What do you have on this particular matchup?
Well, they're coming off the bye, so he's got Lamar Jackson back in his lineup. Lamar was on bye last week, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. But on the other side, Zay Flowers, but he hasn't been doing so good. So on this matchup, I'm going to lean towards coin flip.
All right. Coin flip it is. I don't know if you mentioned, so I lost sound for a half second. This is a rematch from last week's contest, right?
Oh, yes, this is a rematch from last week's contest. So a little payback, but it looks like the edge actually goes to Lionize in this one. I don't know if Sam Darnold can throw 5 touchdowns again. We'll see.
All right. That'd be amazing. All right. Our next game on the consolation side of the bracket here, we have Nick's Waddle Away.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
All right. All right. Nick's Waddle Away is the 9th seed at 6-8. He was doing so well, but then finished the season on a 3-game losing streak. But he is up against the Fantastics. We have a pair of Dolphin fans going full bore here. There's going to be like 4 Dolphins in the lineup as the 12th seed, Ken's Fantastics, finished the season at 3-11. What do you have on this matchup between Dolphin fans?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't go against Jared Goff, MVP. And he is on the Fantastics. So I'm going to lean towards that, Jared Goff, because Matthew Stafford, the trade there, he just didn't do so good this week. So I'm going to lean towards Fantastics and a little sneak peek because oh, wait a minute. I see a goose already, Mike. You got a goose down there. San Francisco defense.
Oh, he had a goose?
He got a goose. So the coin toss. I'm gonna go back on the other side of Waddle Away. Obviously, Jonnu Smith in. Jonnu Smith is gonna win the game for Waddle Away like he wins the games for the Dolphins.
Nice. All right. So the San Francisco defense went from 0 points to 12 points back to 0 points. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Now moving along to our big boy bracket. We have 2 teams on bye. Our number 1 seed, Corey's Mac Daddy 2s, and the number 2 seed, Andrew's Crazy Fish. They're both on bye this week and will advance to the semifinals next week. But who will they face? Crazy Fish will face the winner of this first matchup, the number 3 seed, Amazing Spidey at 9-5, up against our 3-time back-to-back champion, Jimerson's Red Sox Nation, who's the 6th seed at 8-6. What do you have on this matchup?
Ooh, I'm gonna lean towards the Red Sox Nation, and only because I see some things on the other side there, like Kyler Murray. I'm kind of worried about, and Calvin Ridley. I'm kind of worried about. So we'll see. Um, no, I don't know, man. I see some Dallas assets on that side though. But Red Sox Nation, it's hard to bet against him. It really is hard to bet against him. And Trey McBride. You know what? I'm gonna flip flop again. This is another coin toss. Amazing Spidey might have this though. There's too much. There's too many if, ands, and buts on this side. Neighbors, McBride, Drake London, CD Lamb. They all sound good on paper, but they don't look good in the games.
Being that he won the way he did last week, I feel like he might be a team of destiny.
Yeah. Density. That's
Yeah,
more
so
like
it's like,
it.
you are my density. All right. Another back to you. Wait, hold on. What's the All right, fair enough. All right. I've got a lot of questionables. Brees Hall's probably not going to play. Mike Evans, I'm not sure about. I don't know who to play between Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa. Looks like I'm playing Sincere McCormick. I don't. I'm whatever. I feel like whatever I decide is going to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just.
Yeah, but you currently don't have Brees Hall and Mike Evans in your lineup. And your lineup looks a little bit better. I mean, you're definitely not playing Denver running back, so that's good. You're not going to be playing. Kendrick Miller might be a good play, but that projection is still kind of low.
Right. Right. Again, I kind of put my worst lineup in and feeling like if I get better news, I can improve it, but we'll go from there.
Exactly.
All right. Our next matchup here, the winner of this game will get to play against the number 1 seed. We have number 4 seed, Paul's Cubert Rage at 9-5 up against our point leader for the season, Alex's They Took Our Jobs at 8-6. What do you have on this matchup?
Wow. Again, I got another sneak preview of another goose. That's what is that? 28 gooses already, and we haven't even started
So
Sunday.
Cup did finish with a goose. I wasn't sure what he finished with. I saw it was a goose at 3
finished.
quarters.
Yeah,
Wow.
Cup finished with a goose, but on the other side we have Jacoby Myers in the lineup, so we'll see. But Jaden Daniels against Josh Allen, who do you take for fantasy? You take Josh Allen, right?
You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Doesn't mean
But
it's going to end up that way, but if you're asking me, you gotta.
yeah, but that Detroit defense might have an answer for Josh Allen, and New Orleans defense definitely does not have an answer for Jaden Daniels. So I'm going to lean Cubert Rage on this one, based on their quarterbacks alone.
He can make up the goose, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I think he can. Because I think Jacoby Myers could possibly get a goose too. Who's throwing it to Jacoby Myers?
That's fair. That's fair. All right, guys. It is now time to take a look at our updated power rankings.
By the power of Grayskull. I'm living in it, no one man should have all that power.
Wingman Power Rankings.
All right. So last week, I think we did it wasn't you, Bernie. I think I told you the wrong way to calculate one of the fields here or one of the columns. But here is the updated power rankings here, our RSN index. Starting off with the bottom here, the Fantastics. Makes sense. They finished the year in last place. And a team who just missed out on the playoffs, Ben's brilliant team, is the 11th most powerful team. King George is at 10th. Team B, you're falling a little bit in 9th here with a couple low scores, I guess, these last 2 weeks maybe. Waddle Away is the 8th most powerful team. Lion Eyes has moved up to 7th. Mason Spidey has dropped from 5th to 6th. Crazy Fish moved up a bit to 5. Red Sox Nation holds strong at 4. Cubert's Rage drops from 1 to 3. They Took Our Jobs stays at 2. And Mac Daddy 2's moves from 3 to 1. A big flip-flop, exactly how the end of the regular season ended with those two switching positions. What do you have on this particular power rankings here as Mac Daddy 2's has moved to the top of the power rankings going through the playoffs?
I don't disagree with it, but I still don't quite understand power rankings and what they're used for. So I don't disagree with it though. It seems to have ranked everybody accordingly to, I guess, what I look at when I see their teams and their players. So
I think I didn't have it memorized because I didn't put the how we used to do it, but I believe Mac Daddy 2 has the highest projected points going forward. They took our jobs a second, and I believe I'm third. After that, I stopped looking.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. Again, I would always default to Red Sox Nation. Thanks for putting that thing together. He clearly knows analytics better than I do. So, whatever that thing says, since he put it together, I agree with.
All right, guys. It is now time to take a look at our starts of the week. Bring it in. Take a knee. Who wants in?
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me!
All right, son. Don't let me down. You're in.
Wingman Fantasy Football starts of the week.
All right, Bernie, why don't you start us off with your quarterback start of the week?
Oh, I'm going with Mr. Jaden Daniels. He has regained his efficiency, completing 25 of 30 passes for 206 yards and 3 touchdowns in week 14. So that's maintaining a top 10 QB ranking in success and yardage rates. So he's going up against who's he going up against? The Saints secondary, who has struggled since Dennis Allen's departure. So I'm not worried about that. They're allowing 275 plus passing yards in 7 of 13 games.
All right, I've got a little bit of a surprise here. They've been struggling lately, but I think a rebound is coming here. Jalen Hurts versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers give up the third fewest points to the position, but like Bernie mentioned pre-tape here, the squeaky wheel game is coming. He is going to be throwing bombs to A.J. Brown right when Bernie doesn't care anymore. He's going to have a big game in terms of the passing. And if Saquon Barkley gets stopped anywhere inside the 5, we know Jalen Hurts likes to steal those rushing touchdowns as well. Jalen Hurts is my quarterback start of the week. Who do you have at your running back?
Ooh, and the running back, we're going to a team wearing purple. The Minnesota Vikings and Mr. Aaron Jones. He's shown explosive potential. He does have a little backache going on, but he's got 320-plus carry games this season, including a 100-yard plus 1 touchdown performance against Chicago in Week 13. I don't even know what to say about this Bears defense. They're just struggling. So I think it's one of those where last week Sam Darnold had his touchdowns. This week, I think they say, "Oh, this is a defense we can run on. Let's switch up the game plan a little bit and practice a little running game."
I agree that piqued my interest there as well. The Chicago Bears seem to be giving up a little bit or being outmatched at least. And I think you're right. I think Aaron Jones might have a nice day this week.
Yeah.
All right, my running back start of the week is Rico Dowdle. Up against the Carolina Panthers, who give up the most points to the running back position, even though they've been improving. Their status as the best matchup in terms for running backs remains the same. So I have got Rico Dowdle as my running back start of the week.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Okay, so I think that the Carolina Panthers are going to put the Dallas Cowboys into a shootout. That's the only issue I see, because I think that Bryce Young it's clicking. It's clicking, and Thielen, if Thielen isn't too banged up, they're gonna be stretching that field a little bit more than Dallas probably would like.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. All right, my wide receiver start of the week, Zay Flowers. I think coming off of the bye here, he's going up against Deontay Banks, who's had a difficult rookie season. So he's allowing 0.47 fantasy points per coverage snap, and is targeted 24% of the time. Zay Flowers is due up. He's had a couple of slow games, but they're coming off the bye, like I said. So I think Lamar is going to start peppering Zay Flowers this game.
All right. My wide receiver start of the week is CeeDee Lamb against those same Carolina Panthers. So I figure I get one of these maybe. If it's not Rico Dowdle, like you said, maybe it'll be the receiving game here. CeeDee Lamb against the Carolina Panthers, who actually give up the 12th fewest points to the wide receiver. But I think CeeDee Lamb is going to have a field day against this team, or that's my prediction anyway. So CeeDee Lamb is my wide receiver start of the week.
Are you sure you were picked the right players there? Are you confusing the Carolina Panthers for the Jacksonville Jaguars? I could find out who Jacksonville's playing, and you could take their assets if you wanted, because the Carolina Panthers aren't going to be a pushover team. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I don't disagree with you, but I can't pick the Jets and Jets players here unless it was Brees Hall, and he's not playing. I can't. Whatever. I'm out.
I know. I'm just giving you banter to have banter.
That's fine. That's fair enough. All right, guys, are you ready? Because I'm ready for this week's 4th and Long with Bernie.
First down, the game's over. Go for it.
This measurement could determine the Giants'
It is
season.
time for 4th and Long.
With Bernie.
All right. Welcome back to 4th and Long. Mike, the NFL's alternative broadcasts have been wild lately, right? We've had Nickelodeon sliming touchdowns, Toy Story turning the field into Andy's rooms, and The Simpsons bringing Springfield to the gridiron. But I've got an idea that would make those look like public access cable. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Space Ghost Coast to Coast Sunday Night Football. Picture this. Our pregame show opens with Space Ghost behind his desk, desperately trying to interview NFL pregame analysts. Space Ghost. Terry Bradshaw, what's your take on the Chiefs' offensive scheme? Bradshaw. Well, when you look at their personnel, Space Ghost. Fantastic. Have you ever seen Ghost wearing shoes? In the booth, you've got Zorak handling play-by-play, but he's secretly betting against both teams. Oh, that Borak. Or Zorak. 3rd and Long, Chiefs driving. Unfortunately, come on, defense, holding. Meanwhile, Moltar is in the production truck, treating instant replay like his personal film festival. Space Ghost. Moltar, can we see that crucial 4th down play? Moltar. Here it is. Now with laser effects. Now with Kaiju battle in the background. Now set to disco. Space Ghost. But was it a catch? Moltar. Who cares? My version has Godzilla. And just when you think it can't get better, Brack's sideline reporter. Brack. Coach McVay, what you gonna do? McVay. We need to establish the run game. Brack. I love running. Watch me. Runs in circles with microphone. Moltar. Cuts to footage of attack of the 50-foot woman. Space Ghost. Insightful reporting, Brack. The real magic happens during replay reviews, though. Zorak. They're reviewing the catch. Wonderful. Space Ghost. Moltar. Can we get another angle? Moltar. Best I can do is this clip from Plan 9 from outer space. Brack. Creates a new rule song. If the foot's inbounds and you shake it all around, touchdown! So what do you think, football fans? Would you rather watch Space Ghost interview the football during crucial drives, see Zorak openly rooting against both teams, watch Moltar's enhanced replays, or enjoy Brack's musical sideline reports? Maybe you want to see the Space Ghost interviewing a confused Roger Goodell about his favorite type of cloud, or Zorak doing a player introduction while complaining about each one. Remember, folks, somewhere in an alternate universe, this show exists, and it's still getting better ratings than Thursday Night Football. All right, back to you in the main booth, which I assume is just Moltar showing Golden Girls reruns with the score overlaid. Leave us a comment on what you would like to see as an alternate broadcast and what you thought about this one. All right, back to you, Mike. What are your thoughts on this? Are you a Space Ghost fan?
I haven't watched it really in a very long time, so even you describing it, I just realized it's probably just like chaos of non-linear thought is what it sounded like.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I like the fact that you could potentially just screw with people. They're like, this is serious. You're like, yeah, it is serious. Golden Girls are on, Some
yeah. I mean, it's pretty much Space Ghost could be like Collinsworth but in a much more serious matter about talking about nothing.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
All right.
Let's put another IP out there. We'll just keep throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. That sounds just as good as anything else.
Yeah, pretty much. But here's the kicker. It'll be the regular game. It'll just be those guys doing all of the extras within the game.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, I like it. Let's give it a shot.
All right.
Who do we have to contact to make this happen here? We can do it.
Adult Swim.
All right, guys, it is now time to get a look at our Wingman Jam. And before we can pick this week's Wingman Jam players, let's take a look back at how last week's Wingman Jam contest finished up.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Wingman Jam with Bernie the Bounty Hunter and Amazing Spidey. Boom shakalaka. Cincinnati Bengals, Las Vegas Raiders.
Before and after is category this time. 500.
Pat, I'd like to buy a vowel. Pat, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Jamar Chase Brown for the win. Boom! That blowout stunk worse than your infant's diaper on the family trip to Disney. Bernie takes this one. Team B wins. All right. Congratulations, Bernie. You demolished me. It was 59 to like 16, whatever it said there. So I got to stop picking tight ends and try and match up against these big time players.
Yeah. These aren't our starts of the week. We could actually pick good players.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, you won it once again. So you get to pick the first team. You get to pick your team first. Who is the NFL team you're going to pick for this week's Wingman Jam?
I'm going to do the skull clap. I don't even know how to do it. So I'm going to do the Minnesota Vikings.
All right. All right.
My hands are going to go out of frame if I go too high.
I hear you. Yeah. So I like the idea of purple. I'm going to take your purple and match your purple as I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens. We're not screwing around anymore. No more Raiders picks here. All right. So who are the players you are picking for your Minnesota Vikings?
Ooh, maybe I should go out of the box. Nope. Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson, please.
All right. Congratulations, because you're going to get demolished by my Wingman Jam this pick. Like I said, no more screwing around. I'm sick and tired of trying to be cute. We're going with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They are going to rumble and roll. My purple is going to beat your purple. That's what I say now anyway, until we see the results. Are you terrified of Derrick Henry in this game here? They're going to run all over. Who are they playing? They're playing someone they can demolish.
You don't even know who they're playing.
I do, but I forget.
No, I am. That's a good pick. I was actually thinking about them, but then I thought, but I can't. You're gonna have to split touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. So hopefully Lamar can get to Zay
You're going for the
Flowers.
stack. I got you. Yeah.
Hopefully Lamar can get to Zay Flowers, which is my start of the week, and then you'll be good. Then you'll be good to go.
We're going to have passing touchdowns to Derrick Henry. All right. I got to come back. I was
Derrick Henry could throw a touchdown. He's been known to do
You're
that.
right. We haven't seen that yet. You're right. What was our over under before the season? 1.5?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. Yeah. Good call. That's fun. All right. What's next here? All right, guys. It is now time to take a look at this week's mailbag.
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Mailbag! All right. Before we get in the mailbag, what'd you think about my blowout like a diaper on the Disney vacation?
Oh, that was good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the Alex Trebek is in there, or not the
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. What's his name? Pat Sajak.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Our first one comes in from Anonymous. Oh, which Anonymous is this one going to be? We're going to find out All right. With all the penalties and big hits on quarterbacks, with the QBs sliding becoming an issue, it makes it impossible for defensive players to react appropriately and try and stop a quarterback from advancing the ball. Is there a rule change that you think may solve the issue here? I don't have too much of an opinion on this. I think, Bernie, we kind of talked before when we saw this letter come in. What's your thoughts on the QB sliding rule?
Yeah, so after that hit on Trevor Lawrence and the replays and the suspensions and all of that, and don't get me wrong, if you're a dirty player and you get caught and you get fined and you get suspended, you deserve it. But going back to just this in a vacuum quarterback situation, I have now changed my thought and opinion to if the quarterback is scrambling and he passes the line of scrimmage where he can no longer throw the ball, that he is fair game and there is no sliding anymore. So
Ooh.
if I heard a defensive player, I think it was Manti Te'o, he had said, yes, it's the responsibility of the defender to not, you know, go in dirty and try to take somebody out at the head. But he said, it's not just my responsibility. It's the quarterback's responsibility that once he leaves that pocket and crosses that line of scrimmage, you're making a business decision. Defenders are coming after you. So if you don't want defenders to come after you, don't cross that line of scrimmage because now you're fair game. So it's your responsibility to either slide way before somebody's coming to hit you or don't do it at all. So I think you should take the slide out of the game altogether.
What if they, instead of doing the slide, they just run out there and be like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, don't hit me. Something like that.
If they fall forward, I mean, you can, unless it's a complete blindside hit coming
Right.
in, like you can see the guy coming at you, make the
Right.
decision. The thing is, after that game, I saw a couple instances where the quarterbacks were they were running the sideline and doing their kind of like getting that first down towards the end of the games. And it's just like, man, you could see the defender not wanting to go full bore at him. So
Right.
I think they should just take it out altogether.
All
They've
right.
quarterbacks already have so much of an advantage. Take it out.
So I don't disagree. So like once you're past the line of scrimmage, you protect the quarterback position, but once you're out in front of the line of scrimmage, you are no longer a quarterback. You are a runner.
Yeah, you're a guy with the ball. It's like do you what was his name? Malik Washington laid out the punter last week. Did you see that hit?
I didn't see that hit. No.
He laid out the punter. It was glorious. Is there a special rule for kickers? If a kicker is trying to tackle you, do you just not?
Oh, when he was returning, I was thinking on like a punt block when he was returning the ball.
When
yeah,
he was returning
instead of trying to juke him, he's like, I'm just going to truck him. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
It's like one of those things. It's like the kicker is not complaining about getting hit hard. Why does the quarterback?
fair enough.
I think and I think Baker Mayfield would vote for taking out the slide because Baker's a man.
Yeah, he probably would. Yeah, he's a tough nosed player there.
Yeah.
All right, another one comes in. This one comes from Matt. It says you guys had mentioned that the New York Jets were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs for the 2024 NFL season, but I don't think you gave it the appropriate attention to the fact that the Miami Dolphins were the ones to do it. Please respond. All right, what do you think about this here? We did kind of mention that the Jets were eliminated. We mentioned they did play the Dolphins, but I don't know that we really enjoyed the fact that the Dolphins were able to end one of their rivals' playoffs hopes.
Yeah, this is true. We didn't relish in it. We just relished in the fact that the Jets suck. And then we kind of got excited and then moved on from there. But you're right. It's great that the Dolphins did it. There's one more game to be played. I think it's the second to last game of the season. Last game of the season? Yeah, week 18 is the Jets at Jet Life Stadium. So I don't know. I think that it's one of those things where good for them, but what are you going to do with it now? Are you going to get to the playoffs as the Dolphins? Are you going to make this stretch run and just win out? We'll see.
Yeah, you don't want to make this your Super Bowl, although it was a nice stepping stone to get to where you want to go.
Oh, yes. A nice green, like a little mossy stepping stone.
Feels good between your toes, Dolphins. All right. Okay. All right. Our next one comes in from Red Sox Nation. You had mentioned that They Took Our Jobs had a chance to win his 5th title in the last show. I think you meant Red Sox Nation. Yeah, I looked back at the show. I did misspeak and said they took our jobs. Unfortunately, for they took our jobs, he has not won any title yet. Last time he had a chance, Red Sox Nation beat him in the finals. So yes, Red Sox Nation, we all understand you're going for your 5th title this year. We get it. I misspoke. It was not on purpose. You don't have to bring up every time and just say, look over here, I'm the one who won last time. We get it. We say it in every show. So I apologize for the misspeak here, but we know who it is. Everyone knows who it is.
We love you.
Oh, and thanks for the power rankings. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for the power rankings. Yes.
All right, we have another one here from Mac Daddy Twos. It says, "Hey guys, love the show. Bernie, I have to agree with your assessment. Josh Allen definitely was the reason that James Cook struggled in last week's Cubert's Rage game, allowing for me to win the number 1 seed and earn a first round bye. That alone makes Josh Allen the MVP." All right, what do you think of? I know you have some thoughts on this whole scenario here.
Yeah, I do, but it is what it is. Listen, Josh Allen is a good football player. I'm not going to take anything away from him. Does he make his team better? Maybe. If you took Josh Allen off of the Bills and you put in, I don't know, put in somebody, Mike, anybody,
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Would they be the same team? No. Would they be just as good? Maybe. Would they be better? Probably.
All right.
Let's see. Let's see it. If you're going to be the MVP, let's see you get further than, let's just see. Let's just see.
All right. I see one more envelope down there, but I can't quite reach it. What else is in our mailbag for there, Bernie?
So we got another one from Mr. Chuck P over here. And Chuck P was saying that he listened to the Wingman Fantasy Football podcast and how that Red Sox Nation won his last week's game. And he thinks he's a little suspect, and there might need to be an investigation on how that all went down. I believe you had gone over the details, and there was like a last-minute CeeDee Lamb catch or something like that.
Mhm.
So I don't know what to say. Do you have anything to say on that? Can we investigate any sort of collusion or shenanigans?
Well, I looked back at the tape, and surprisingly enough, it wasn't number 88 who caught it. It was number 18, but they gave it to CeeDee Lamb anyway. I don't know who made the call in here. CeeDee Lamb wasn't even on the field. I don't know how he got credit for that, and now it's too late for the stat correction. Very sketchy indeed. You'll get your wins however you can take them. You remind me of a new coach maybe going to UNC and some cheating scandals. What do you think about this?
That's a whole nother podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe his girlfriend was signing up for classes, and he's like, "Well, if I'm gonna move there anyway, I might as well coach there." Jeez.
I was thinking that she's going to be a student, or at least she's going to be around a lot more people her own age, and maybe she'll leave him.
No, she's going to be his top recruiter.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't want to look into that any more than what you just said. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for writing into our mailbag, guys. We appreciate all the responses. And, I hope you enjoy some of our answers. Of course, we're fooling around here a little bit. Red Sox Nation, you are totally legit. Don't worry. We know you're going to win again, especially going to win this week. We know it's going to happen. I already want to give you a congratulations ahead of time because I know you're moving on to face Crazy Fish next week. So congratulations to you, Red Sox Nation.
Don't ring the bell. Don't ring the bell. You're ringing the bell too early.
Oh, I did too early? All right. Okay. All right. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so very much for joining us for another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League podcast. You can find our podcast and audio feeds at YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and TuneIn Radio. Just search Wingman the League on those platforms to find our content. If you're not sure if you want to watch and or listen, you can find both feeds at wingmanentertainment.net/podcast. Little tip here, the titles of the shows are audio feeds, and the video tiles play the video. And if you want to watch our shows here and see all of our graphics, our funny faces, you can go ahead and find us at wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube to find our YouTube channel. When you head over there, please do leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell. Leave a comment. Pick your Wingman Jam teams, people. We need some competition in here. And we will get you in our next mailbag segment and let you know who won the Wingman Jam. All right, guys, I want to thank you so very much for watching. With that being said, guys, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty.
And may the only questionable tag this week for you be your decision to eat that gas station sushi.
Oh, I love gas station sushi, especially the third day.
Wah
See ya.
wah.